it's your Mazelleغ. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to share with you all this video clip and then I'm going to come back and talk about it. So let's get into it.
African Americans and Caribbean who want positive relationships with continental Africa, go to the purple areas. That's where you're from. You need to know your history because your history is your identity, like Professor James Small said. The people in Africa who fight with everyone all the time are those who don't know their history. It's not just the diaspora. The same with the invaders of the north or Somali people or even my own Fulani people who create constant problems in West Africa. They are people who don't know who they are because they don't know their history. So they try to take that which belongs to someone else. Jamaica, African America, Barbados, Cuba, where are you from? I'm gonna give you the easiest mathematically precise model. Look at the areas of West Africa which are Christian. Christianity did not spread to West Africa naturally. It spread by this: ships, cannons, muskets. These guys came and in the name of Christianity committed the largest sins in human history, not only to Africans, but also Native Americans and Aboriginals in Australia. So wherever you see Christianity in West Africa, Christian names, Victorian era buildings, slave castles, those are the areas and the people who were exposed to the horrors of the transatlantic slave trade. Just like you are Christian in the diaspora, they are Christian in the continent. Those are your cousins. They are your long lost brothers who went through the same history as you. If you go to Christian West Africa, like Ghana for example, who offer repatriation to the diaspora, you will have the homecoming feeling that you're looking for. But please do not blame my Fulani ancestors for what these people did.
Now, there will be some African Americans that will look at this man's video and make it their judgment as far as why they don't want to travel to the African continent. They will say, based on this man's video, that people from the African continent don't care about African Americans, don't love African Americans, don't want connection to African Americans, don't want African Americans traveling to the African continent. And there will be some African Americans that will base their judgment on this man's video. This is this man's opinion. What he has to say is his opinion, his belief. He does not speak on the African continent. He does not speak on the people on the African continent. He does not speak for his people, and he does not speak for his country. He speaks for himself. Everybody's entitled to their opinion and belief, including this man. And I don't have a problem with people having their own opinion and belief. What I have a problem with this video, however, is how he's justifying his opinion and belief. He's justifying it on facts that are not true. He's justifying it on misinformation. Now, if he doesn't want to have a connection to African Americans and African diasporans, then just say that. But don't try to base it on the fact of some transatlantic slave trade for the reason why you don't want to connect to African Americans or why you feel like African Americans should not have connection to North Africa. Not the African continent, but North Africa. Now, he says that African Americans need to connect to only the countries in purple, because these would be the countries that he's claiming would be the transatlantic slave trade. And because that's where the enslaved Africans would have come from, that would be, of course, shipped to the Americas, then that's the areas that African Americans need to connect to. That's the areas that they need to visit and live and invest. That's where they need to go and feel, that's where they need to go if they want to feel welcome, because they're not going to get no welcoming feeling in North Africa, which would be in the green area. Now, first of all, the map that he puts on this video is definitely not the map that would be in the transatlantic slave trade. The countries would not even be in existence then. It would just be areas. Ghana was not even Ghana then. It would have been the Gold Coast. The Ghana Empire is in a different area than Ghana. Ghana did get its name from the Ghana Empire, but it would be a different area than the Ghana Empire. It would not even be called Ghana. They called it the Gold Coast. That's the first thing. The second thing that he left out Senegambia. Senegambia is a predominantly Islam country. So Senegal and Gambia are predominantly Muslim countries. But they still were a part of the slave trade. Senegambia is the first place that the Portuguese landed. The reason why they're not Christian countries is because they just did not want to convert. They refused to convert to Christianity. But majority of the enslaved Africans came from Senegambia. So to leave them out of there just because they're Islam is inaccurate. So if an African American wants to go to Senegambia because they want to connect to the ancestry there, they have every right to do so if that's the reason why they're going to the African continent. Because Senegambia would be a part of that whole West African coastal line where the transatlantic slave trade would have taken place. There were quite a bit of people that were taken from this area and shipped to the Americas. So yes, African Americans would have some connection to this area because they could have some ancestry there. And there was somebody in the comment section that said they took the DNA ancestry test and it said that they did have Senegambia in them. And he had the nerve to say that the DNA ancestry test is wrong. Now, African Americans are not supposed to listen to a DNA ancestry, but they're supposed to listen to him. And he's historically not right. Historically inaccurate. Senegambia should be a part of the transatlantic slave trade. Even though it's Islamic, it still is a part of those countries. So if African Americans want to go there to feel a connection to their ancestors, Senegambia should be included in that. And he just decided to leave it out simply because it's Islam. I mean, it has nothing to do with anything. Now, when he's talking about Christianity, I don't know why he thinks that African diasporans are just Christians. There are African Americans who are Islam. There are African diasporans who are also Islam. So, that again is historically or whatever is factually incorrect, that there are African diasporans who's Muslims and there are African Americans who are Muslim. So the slave trade really has no bearing on what somebody's religion is or what they decide they want to practice. The transatlantic slave trade has nothing to do with that. The point, other than him being wrong about this whole situation, is that he's not the determining factor of where anybody can go. He's not the determining factor of where African Americans can go. If an African American wants to go to the African continent to connect there, they are more than welcome to do so. Some of them go to the African continent to connect because they just want to connect to the African continent. And some of them do want to connect with some type of ancestry. Either way it goes, they have every right to go to wherever African country that they want to go to, and he's not the determining factor for the African Americans or African diasporans as far as where they want to travel, where they want to build, where they want to invest, where they want to connect. He is not the determining factor. He just doesn't want to have a connection for whatever reason. Him trying to not include Senegambia in the slave trade, I don't really know why he's trying not to do that. But it is part of the slave trade, and he needs to go ahead and add that right onto the map. Whether or not they're Islamic or not, they are still part of the slave trade, and there's not really anything he can do to change that. So if you have African Americans that are coming to Senegal and Gambia, and they're coming there because they want to make connection to the land and they want to make connection to the people, he is not the determining factor to say that they cannot. He doesn't want a connection to African Americans, and that is a choice that he can make. He has a problem with African Americans. He has a problem with the African diasporans, and he just needs to keep it at that and stop trying to include inaccurate historical facts to justify his opinion. All right, that is all I have to say on that. I am Michelle Mazelleغ. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.